What's an oh shit moment where you realized you've been doing something the wrong way for years? I had a used car and didn't realize until a couple years later that it had remote start. Person buying my now more used car. This has remote start? Me. No. Person. Pushes button. Starts car. Me. Well. Price just went up. Never mind. I'm keeping it. When I was 5, a Pizza Hut employee told me that the powder on the breadsticks was called fairy dust. Ordered extra fairy dust on my breadsticks until I was around 14 when an employee said, "Do you mean garlic salt?" It still devastates me to realize how obtuse I was. Until last week, when my father-in-law would made a phone call on his very basic non-touch screen flip phone. He would open the menu, scroll to the phone icon, open it, hit the soft key for contacts, scroll to the person he wanted to call, press OK, then press the soft key to call. When he mentioned how he preferred his landline because he could just dial the number, I said, "Humor me. Just dial the number and hit the talk button." I've never seen a man so simultaneously grateful and embarrassed. Since the dawn of time, I would pick up the silverware and utensils out of their tray in the dishwasher and put them away in their drawers, then go back and pick up more out of the dishwasher. Then one day I saw my wife lift the tray out of the dishwasher and I legit stood there with my mouth open. God damn it. I knew that thing moved because I've removed it and changed it around to make pans or big dishes fit better, and I've still been going back and forth for the silverware. Mine routinely shifts and comes out as I'm trying to pull the silverware out, if there's too much in it, and my idiot response is to get mad and shove it back into place instead of realizing the universe is trying to show me something. I always thought eggplant tasted itchy, like itchy was a flavor, like sour or salty. Fed some to my baby and his face turned red wherever the eggplant touched, and I realized we're both just allergic to eggplant. And itchy isn't a flavor. Edit. Thank you for the silver, kind internet strangers. Apparently the red ring around the bologna is not supposed to be eaten. My parents had a cat that ate a slice of bologna and then wouldn't shut up a few hours later when it was running around the house scared of the red tail sprouting from its anus. Hope you fared better. My mom used to refer to me as a bull in a china shop. Always heard it as bull in a china shop, thinking it was a compliment. At about 22 I hear someone else use the phrase and realized she meant bull, not bowl. AWW mom talking about how dainty and priceless I am again. Well, this was a few years ago. I was the director of IT for a very large company. I was given a new cell phone and told to set up my voicemail. I don't know that when I recorded my name it would be played to whomever I leave a voicemail for. Well, the name I recorded was Duda84 Corporate IT God. I worked there for 4 years until someone in the hallway referred to me as the corporate IT god. I was so embarrassed. Not wrong for years, but I work help desk, and we use a specific, terrible piece of software for our support system, IBM Notes. It turns out that for the first 9 months I had been working there, it wasn't set up properly, so I wasn't sending any emails from it at all. No notifications that the ticket went to me. No responses from me. No close notifications. Nothing. Someone noticed this, took a look, and fixed a setting. I immediately sent out over 1,000 emails to everyone in the company. You work in IT and managed to keep your job without sending emails for 9 months. That's impressive. This is insane to me. My boss gets on me if he doesn't see me send enough emails in a day. Realized the multicolored tape measures glued to the door frames of gas stations etc. are for identifying robbers, not for measuring yourself as you walk out. I mean, they can be, but that's not why they are there, unless you're the robber. Not mine, but my dad has been spelling his name wrong his whole life. He's 51. His name is Jeffrey, and he's been spelling it like that since he learned how to spell his name. A few months ago my mom pulled out his birth certificate, and we all learned it's actually spelled Jeffrey. Not sure if he spells it correctly now, but it was definitely an oh shit moment for him. Grandfather thought his name was Harvey his whole life. Got his birth certificate at 65 and it's Harmon. My first gold. Thanks. My aunt and uncle gave my grandmother a copy of her birth certificate for her birthday. Apparently she had never had one. On her 77th birthday, she found out she was actually 78. I used to fill the kettle by the spout. My parents have always done it this way. I thought the center part was mainly for decoration, but not functional. I don't know why I never questioned this. One day I bought a new tea kettle and my husband was like, WTF, what is inside this? And with great ease, opened the center to pull out a manual with instructions and whatnot. I was drinking dirty paper water for like 2 weeks. When I first got a debit card and would go out to eat at restaurants with my friends, I would leave a cash tip on the table. When I got the receipt to put how much I was paying, I would write down how much money I left on the table. For at least 6 months I gave double tips to every waitress I had. Edit. Word, I did this to a pizza guy once. I gave him a cash tip and when he gave me the receipt to sign I put down how much cash tip I gave him. He told me, whoa, you're giving me more. I was like, is that not how it works? He said he'd correct it for me once he got back to the store. I felt pretty embarrassed. When I was a kid, I was told that the paper that came on cupcakes muffins was edible. I would spend a decade eating them like this, paper and all, until a friend pointed it out. I mean, you ate them for a decade. I think you proved they are edible. My family always had a cup next to the bathroom sink in case you needed to rinse your mouth after brushing your teeth or maybe get a quick drink of water in the middle of the night. My grandma had the same cup at her house. I used it for years whenever I was thirsty. One day she saw me doing this and said, "Don't use that cup. That's where grandma puts her teeth." Living in a foreign country where I was actively learning the language, social cues go a long way when learning a language on the spot. That being said, someone once said a phrase to me while serving a hot dish, which I assumed as meaning "excuse me." After going through crowds and lines, replicating the same phrase in an attempt to be respectful of those around me, I abruptly found out that the phrase actually meant enjoy. Hindsight completely makes sense. The odd looks I would get by saying enjoy while squeezing past people all of a sudden made sense. I didn't find out that I was supposed to punch out for lunch until my third job, and even then it was because a coworker mentioned it in passing that they were clocking out for lunch. That's freaking awesome. I cannot believe none of your bosses did not ever say anything to you. At my first and only full-time job I've had, they didn't require you to clock out for lunch. They said they just docked 30 minutes off your pay so that you would have more time to get out to the break room and eat instead of everyone lining up 5 minutes before lunch to try and hurry out to the break room. Former school nurse here. The number of high school boys who don't know what circumcision is amazingly high. Men think they were born circumcised. When they finally see a foreskin, they are in complete awe. When they find out the brown ring on their penis is a scar from when their foreskin was removed, they are also amazed. Wow. I used to pull my pants down all the way at the urinal. I was with my little cousin at the mall. I was 13. He was 9. We went to pee at the urinals and I saw him pull his pants all the way down. I was like, no, and explained how to use the zipper. A guy comes walking out of the stall and says, "Good work showing that boy how to get that hose out." A guy comes walking out of the stall and says, "Good work showing that boy how to get that hose out." I can't think of a more inappropriate sentence. I taught myself how to play clarinet. 6 months later someone told me that I'd been playing with the mouthpiece upside down. Maybe you just had your mouth upside down, orchestral clarinetist here. You're some kind of wizard for making that work, and I have much respect for you. I owned a light blue colored microwave for about 3 years that a family member gave me for a housewarming gift. Thought it was cool. Never saw a blue microwave before. One night, A buddy asked why I never took the blue plastic wrap off my microwave, then proceeded to peel it off for me. Damn, that bitch is silver. Still miss my blue microwave sometimes though.